Hey, Cluster Leader, Pastor Mike here. First off, I just want to thank you so much for working alongside me. I am honored and I enjoy and I love working alongside you guys. I love what our church is doing, and I love to see you guys carrying out the vision that God has given Lockport Christian Church. I was reading through my Bible the other day, and I became inspired by something that I want to share with you. It's out of Matthew chapter 9, verse 35, kind of right in the middle of Jesus' ministry on earth. And it's actually an interesting point in Jesus' time because it's right before he sends out the disciples to go and do ministry on their own. And in Matthew chapter 9, verse 35, it says, Jesus went through all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and healing every disease and sickness. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. That saying has been ringing through my mind and my spirit this last week. And then he said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest, therefore, to send out workers into his harvest field. Let me tell you something. The work of the gospel, Jesus says, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Gospel work, the work of the gospel, it is active and it is something where you go out. It's an active and a going faith, okay? And as a cluster leader, you are doing the work of the gospel, and you are a worker that this passage has talked about, and you've been sent out not only by God, but also by your church and the leaders of your church. You've been commissioned, you've been sent out to do the work of the gospel, and we have sent you out into the harvest because we have realized that the work is plentiful. The harvest is plentiful. The first thing that a lot of gospel workers realize is just how much work there is to do. And when you start to do the work of the gospel, you start to realize that the harvest really is plentiful, that the work really is there. There's a lot of gospel work to do. And so that's why we sent you out, because we realized that we could not do this all on our own and all in one spot. So we sent you out. And I want you to realize that as a gospel worker, you've been sent out. But also now as a leader, see, we have poured into you and we have empowered you and we have enabled you. And now we have made you leaders, okay? And you are probably realizing that the gospel and the harvest is plentiful, and the workers are few. And our whole mission, our whole purpose, the vision for our church is that when we sent you out, you would begin to find people in your cluster who you can now send out to do their own work of the harvest. God says the workers are few, but the harvest is plentiful. Hey, guess what? The harvest didn't get any less plentiful when you started your cluster. But you want to know what did happen? The amount of people that you now have to do the work can multiply. So the harvest continues to be plentiful, but the workers can increase. That's the whole goal of this mission, of this movement, of this vision that we have, the whole purpose that we have. We want you to not only go after the harvest, not only go after the people, not only go after the unsaved, but also to create workers to work alongside you, and also workers that you can send out to their own harvest and create their own leaders. The work is always going to be there, but the workers are not unless we leaders do the work to multiply ourselves. So the work will never go away, but the workers will. The work will never go away. But if we don't do our job as leaders to multiply ourselves, the workers will. We are a church that exists to be disciples who create disciples. Let me break this down along the lines of Matthew chapter 9. We are people who are workers that create workers. We are workers who create workers. We're disciples who make disciples. So we have sent you out, but now you have to do the next step and look for people in your cluster that you can send out, that you can bring alongside you to do the work of the ministry. And in the very next chapter, after Mark 9, that's when Jesus sends his disciples out, because Jesus even realizes that he can't reach the people by himself. And now he has to send his disciples out. Jesus realizes the work is too much just for him, so he sends out his disciples. We're a church who wants disciples who make disciples and workers who make workers. That's my prayer for you guys. That's my goal for you guys. And I am unrelenting in that being our purpose as a church. So come on board with us. Look for opportunities to make workers. Look for opportunities to make disciples who are going to make disciples. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so happy with all the work that you're doing. And I'm ready to take this next step and enter into this next season of creating disciples who make disciples. God bless. Thank you. I'm praying for you. I hope you're praying for me, because we're all in this together. Bye.